Let's expand a little bit more on the judicial side. So things such as the criminal justice reform. I know that you have a huge heart for the people, and you've expressed it time and time again. What do you see yourself doing on a judicial side to help those that are in the system, that may be victims of the system? Things such as accountability. How can you increase accountability? What can you do to make it that there's more independent investigations rather than these internal investigations? What are your thoughts on all that?
Once elected, likely what I would be doing would be communicating with people within the judicial, other attorneys, probably criminal defense attorneys, so on and so forth, and getting their recommendations. How can we create more transparency, more equal footing within our judicial system? Because it is my observation, my focus, of course, is foreclosure defense. That's where I do probably 60-70% of my work, but I also do family law, and I also assist with a little bit of criminal defense. And what I see in our system is he who has no money has no justice, and we need to change that. And I think transparency would go a long way to changing that. I think there's some bias within the court system right now that needs to be addressed. I think that one thing, now this is a little bit outside of what I would be doing as a state legislator, but we need to be mindful of who we're electing as our judges. Most people, myself included, paid very little attention to who I was voting for as a judge. I think we need to be more mindful. These judges have a lot of power, and they affect our daily lives. Now, frankly, up until a few years ago, pre-recession, most of us didn't really have much experience in the criminal justice system, or maybe we had some experience in family court if we went through divorce or something like that. But most of us, we're law-abiding citizens. We don't really get that involved with the court system. But now it seems like there's sort of an acceleration, and more people are realizing, the problems with our judicial system right now. And it's a real challenge for attorneys who are trying to defend individuals against some of the tyranny, if you will. I've said for many years, I have friend Scott Staffney, who's a wonderful attorney, and I've said for quite some time that a good attorney, decent attorney, who really wants to serve the public, they are the thin black line between us and tyranny. Our system is set up in such a way to avoid violent revolution and violent response to our issues. Attorneys, if you will, are sort of warriors on the front line. It was a system set up to manage conflict without turning to violence. Well, when you get into a situation where the system isn't working, look what we're seeing now. Kennedy said, when nonviolent revolution is made impossible, violent revolution is inevitable. So I think what we're seeing in our streets right now, the Black Lives Matter movement, frankly, it's not limited to African Americans. I'm seeing it across the board. One of the things I talk a lot about is building bridges, because frankly, all of us, we're all in this together. And some of the issues, now granted, the African American community has felt it a lot longer than we have, but this is about power and control. And frankly, a lot of people like you and me and our community, we're experiencing those same things too. And I think it's time for us to link arms and really talk about the issues that we're facing. So when I see what's going on in the news and the violence that's happening, I've been watching this since about 2008. I've been watching it develop. It's no surprise to me. Frankly, it's one of the reasons I'm doing what I'm doing, and I've been fighting as hard as I have been for this many years, is because I want to wake up the powers that be to what's going on. They're not connecting the dots. And the reality is we have some real issues and people are getting angry. And again, you know, when people don't get the justice in the court system and when people feel like they have no power, their vote means nothing, people are going to turn to what they know. And we have politicians right now, frankly, that are exploiting this. We have on both sides who are, they see what's going on, and they are exploiting our fears. You know, we're all, at the end of the day, whether you're black, white, you know, Hispanic, Christian, atheist, Democrat, Republican, you know, female, male, we all want the same thing at the end of the day. We want food on our table, a roof over our heads, and a future for our kids. And right now we're scared. We're scared. You know, Americans are scared. And we have two politicians right now who are exploiting that fear for their own gratification, for their own, you know, to elevate themselves. We need real leadership in this country right now. We need leaders who are going to rise above that, who are going to guide people, who are going to calm our fears, who are going to sort of rise above all of this chatter and calamity and unite Americans and help us see that we have more in common at the grassroots level than we have different. And that together we can, and this sounds really, you know, Pollyanna, I suppose, but I really believe we can fix these problems if we can get government out of our way, and partly because government right now is controlled by corporate interests. You mentioned the crony capitalism, but we need leaders who are going to speak the truth and who are not going to exploit people, and who are not going to exploit their fears and not incite hate and violence and divide us as communities and as a country. And, you know, I'm kind of getting into politics a little bit here. Well, I'm running for office, but, you know, I only see one leader right now on the horizon, and I don't agree with him entirely on all his political, all his policy statements. But that's not what I'm looking for anyway in a leader. You know, he's not going to operate in a vacuum. I'm looking for a leader. I'm looking for somebody who can help heal America's wounds right now and unite us as a country. And so I've gone way off from your original question.